Okay, we're on to the grid ends here. Jim has a triangular shelf system that attaches to his shower head. The total height of the system is 18 inches. And there are 3 parallel shelves as shown above. What is the maximum height in inches of a shampoo bottle that can stand upright on the middle shelf? So we want to know this height h. And in order to do that, what we're going to have to do is actually use the entire triangle to go all the way up to the top. And then we can use this mini triangle and we can subtract. Okay, so the first step is going to be to figure out this height right here. Okay, we could do this using similar triangles, right? So we already know about the full height of the entire thing. So the full height of the entire thing is 18, and then the full length along here is, let's see, 6x, right? So we have a big triangle here with 6x and 18. And then our smaller triangle, which goes down most of the way, but not all the way, has 5x for this, and we're looking for this, question mark. So 6x over 18 equals 5x over question mark. The x's can cancel. You just divide by x on both sides. And 6 over 18 is really 1/3. Let's rewrite that as 1/3. And then we can cross multiply. We get question mark equals 15. So that gives us our height of that entire thing would be 15. And now we can use this teeny tiny triangle up at the top. So it has a 2x here, and it has, let's call this z for that small height. And again, we can use similar triangles. So 5x over 15 equals 2x over z. Okay. And again, the x's will cancel out. And again, we'll get 1/3 on the left side here. And again, we cross multiply and get z is equal to 6. So this tiny z here is 6. So now, as we said before, we want to do the total thing here minus the small one. So that would be 15 minus 6, which equals 9. So that's our answer for question 16. Next, in the triangle above, the sine of x is 0.6. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So we can let this opposite be 0.6 and the hypotenuse be 1. So this is like 0.6 over 1. What is the cosine of y? So the cosine of y would be adjacent over hypotenuse, which again is 0.6 over 1. So the answer is just 0.6. For what real value of x is the equation above true? So what we have to do is do a grouping. So we factor by grouping, factoring out an x squared, we get x minus 5. Then we pull out a plus 2 and we get x minus 5. And from here, we can factor out a x minus 5, and we're left with x squared plus 2. And then we can t-chart that, so x equals 5, and x squared equals negative 2. So this is a reject, and x equals 5 is our answer. If xy is the solution to the system of equations above, what is the value of x? So I would use elimination method. I'd start by doubling the entire top equation. Minus 6x plus 8y equals 40. And then I combine these via stack and solve. The x's cancel. I get 11y equals 55. Divide by 11 on both sides, and I get y equals 5. Since I'm looking for x, I have to plug back in. So plug back into the first equation, minus 3x plus 4 times 5 equals 20. So I get minus 3x plus 20 equals 20. Subtract 20 from both sides, and I end up with 0 on the right side. And then I divide by negative 3, and I still have 0. So x equals 0 is my result. The mesosphere is a layer of the Earth's atmosphere between 50 kilometers and 85 kilometers above the Earth's surface. At a distance of 50 kilometers from Earth's surface, the temperature in the mesosphere is minus 5 degrees Celsius. So at a distance of 50 kilometers, the output is minus 5. And then at a distance of 80 kilometers, the output is minus 80. For every additional 10 kilometers, the surface temperature decreases by k degrees Celsius. So this is a rate of change. So it's effectively looking for a slope of some sort. So the first step I would do is I would find the slope of my situation here. Change in y over change in x. So the change in y is it goes down 75 from here to here, and then this value goes up by 30. So this goes positive 30. And we could of course reduce this by a factor of 5. So let's see, is this 15 times 5? I believe so. And this is 6 times 5. These 5's cancel. And I can go a little further. I could do 5 times 3 and 2 times 3. And the 3's cancel. So I get negative 5 halves for my slope. And they're saying for every 10 kilometers, this is the kilometer side, and this is the Celsius side. So for every 10 kilometers, so they want the change in x to be 10 kilometers. So I'm going to write that on the bottom here, and we want this change in y to be k. So we set up this proportion and solve for k. So we get negative 50 after cross multiplying equals 2k. Divide by 2 on both sides, we get negative 25 equals to k. So there's our value for k.